Bernie Sanders' campaign is now making a new case for Senator Sanders and how he will get the nomination. And honestly, it sounds a little Kasich-esque, at least on the surface. Senator Sanders' campaign manager has now told CNN that the campaign's working assumption is that neither Democratic candidate will get a majority of delegates. Neither one will get to 2,383 delegates, and that therefore neither of them will win the nomination in the primary process. The campaign says that they believe the Sanders campaign, Bernie Sanders himself, will win the nomination at the convention because at the convention, the superdelegates will decide that Bernie Sanders should win and not Hillary Clinton. Quote, this is what superdelegates have to grapple with. They want to win. Many of these people are elected officials, party insiders. At the end of the day, they want the candidate who's going to be able to beat the Republicans. And polling consistently shows that's Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders' campaign manager saying nobody's going to win the Democratic nomination before the convention. And then at the convention, the superdelegates ought to pick Bernie Sanders because he's better. He's just a better bet for the Democratic Party, which is why it sounds Kasich-esque. Here's my question, though. Why would the Sanders campaign feel like they needed to make a Kasich-esque argument? Why would the Sanders campaign be making an argument that's generally reserved for candidates who mathematically can't make any other argument, who mathematically can't win the nomination any other way? What's the Sanders campaign seeing when they look at the electoral map that's driven them to a strategy that makes it seem like all this primary and caucus stuff is pretty hopeless? There's only one man I trust to guide me through an electoral map this year. That is the great Steve Kornacki, political correspondent and the host of Meet the Press Daily on Mondays here on MSNBC. Steve, thank you for doing this.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, the Bernie Sanders campaign to winning the nomination before the convention?
So here, when they're saying there's no mathematical way, what you have to understand is what they're referring to in particular here. So we've divided the delegates into two categories. The superdelegates, people know about these, the elected officials, the party leaders. They automatically vote at the convention. However, they are not technically committed right now, even if they say they're for Clinton or say they're for Sanders. So the key to what the Sanders campaign is saying now is in this category right here, the allocated delegates. These are the ones given out in primaries and in caucuses. So what they're saying is that nobody, when you go through all the primaries and caucuses, in this column will hit this number, 2383, the magic number. And there may be something to be said for that. They're basically saying if nobody gets to that, then you're going to have, and what they're calling it a contested convention. The contested convention would mean a fight for the superdelegates. They're basically saying the fight for the superdelegates will start when the primary is over.
And that part of their argument, you think that is feasible? That neither one of them, under reasonable assumptions about what's going to happen in the primary, that neither one of them is going to get 23?
So that part is reasonable. In the allocated category, it's very possible Hillary Clinton is short of that. However, what the Sanders campaign